Alright, I'm back once again. This time I'm going to talk about the upcoming finals between G2 and I'm just going to remember Splice. Of course, it's Splice. And it's going to be a real exciting final. And I think, personally, everything would tell you that G2 are going to take this one. But I think Splice got a real chance here. They are still the underdog, and they live and die by that. And I think the cockiness of G2, which I've always suspected would catch up with them sometime soon, I think that could cost them dearly in the end, because it's just never going to work being that cocky. And sometimes when you look from the outside, it seems like they are not. Of course, they are adapting way better than others, but sometimes you sleep on your laurels, and you might not pick up, especially in this new meta. Of course, it fits them well with the bot lane, which could be a huge point of emphasis in this matchup, where I'm not entirely sure that Mikix and whatever he's called, let me just check his name. I just forgot it. I'm just a little tired today. Probably shouldn't have done this video, but what the hell. Well, Kobe, of course, Mikix and Kobe. I'm really not sure that they can stand up against Miffy and Sven, unless of course, the unwritten rule of this new meta is that there's so much to lose in lane that you don't want to risk anything at all. But then again, G2's mentality is pretty straightforward. But at least if we just dive a bit into that kind of matchup, I would suspect that Splice would go, just based on looking at them, go for something like Tristana, not exactly a great AD carry, or an Ezreal, something with some kind of escape. I'm not entirely sold on them going Jinx, even though it would be a great pick, but I'm not feeling it, unless of course you have Tahm Kench. So if they can get Tahm Kench, but that depends on the side selection, which I suspect, or which G2 should have the pick of the litter with, because they are the one seed. Then again, I'm not really sure how much they can do in lane, because I think it's very overrated that how much you can actually do in lane. Because this is not solo queue, this is a goddamn championship of the European LCS. I'm not sure you're going to risk everything. But yeah, I think Tahm Kench is going to be such a pivotal point of this matchup and in the entire series as well. But onto the mid lane, where I think we got ourselves a real good one. This is going to be extremely fun to see. Perkz versus Syncox. When you look at it from the outside, I'm not feeling that. Perkz is great, but he's not end all be all great. And Syncox, when he gets the right matchups, can be great, especially in the late game. So at least if I was G2, I would really try to avoid them having some kind of a safe early game. So maybe you should just try. You could go for something really in your face kind of champions. Like, let me just look it up. I would not like them to play Orianna, because I can see that champion coming back once again in this meta. But I could suspect Ryze being picked, not by G2, but by Syncox, even though it seems a little odd, but it fits their playstyle really well. Let me just see which kind of matchup. Some kind with pushing power. I'm not sure about Vladimir, if he's been nerfed yet on the patch they're playing on, But that would be a great pick for G2, just abuse the lane phase, because there's not really that many bad matchups. And let me just see which other matchup could be fun as well to watch out for. Just looking at it, you could go Aurelion Sol and just shove it in 24/7, or maybe Ari could be great as well. Cassiopeia as well is really great, but which you could counteract their scaling components with. But then again, it requires such a good early game to be enabled completely. Yeah, I'm thinking that something like that. Syndra is kind of getting back. You could. It's so dependent on the matchup, so you need to ban out the correct ones. Yeah, I would probably something like that. You could also go Cillian. I know it seems weird, but I think it fits Perkz really well to play that champion. You could as well go Twisted Fate, which I think is... Or Taliyah. Taliyah would be the best matchup he could get, probably. I really want him to see it. I want to see him play that champion. Meanwhile, I think Senkux, he would preferably go for some scaling things. Jesus, which one could he go for? It really depends on what that playstyle would be in this matchup. I would suspect him for going something with... Let me just look around here, looking at champions. Just done the whole video, but trying to find something. Unless everything breaks down, I think Malzahar would be a great pick in all scenarios, because it's so great in the late game and fits him well. He needs to be careful in the lane, but he can make up for it with the jungle pressure. Yeah, then we have Ryze. I think it's great champion as well. Helps the team a lot. Of course, if we could get Taliyah, it would be absolutely fantastic as well. Well, looking at it right now, Seraph is not a bad pick either, even though it seems a little odd of a pickup. I'm not sure entirely where 6 is at the moment in the meta, but that could be a great component as well when you try attempt going for the towers and such. Wouldn't be a bad pick either, but he could go for something like LeBlanc as well. Not bad either. Cassiopeia. I'm scrolling through the same champions because these are the meta champion in my opinion, at least. That would be pretty safe. Okay, on to a jungle matchup between Trashy and Trix, and this one can, as well as the bot lane, completely decide this series in my eyes. But in my honest opinion, not just. I think it's the top lane and the jungle. It seems odd when I've just told you about the bot lane being a contested one, but that's more like the hype one. I think it's more like top that's going to change everything. But okay, Perkz, now Trix versus Trashy. This is a lopsided battle because I don't think Trashy is that great at all. I think he's pretty much overrated at the moment because his team is helping him so badly. He can hold his own, that's something, but it could work out if Trix is too disrespectful, which wouldn't be a surprise seeing G2. I'm sorry, I'm biased, but that's what it is. Yeah, let's just have a scroll through here. It could be fun if Skarner got back in the meta, but I don't suspect it. Olaf is going to be a contested pick for sure. got everything at the moment. Depending on, I've always wanted to see the champion, but Vi could be fun to see as well. As a kind of, I think Trix could go for something like that if um, if Spice are attempting to go for something really passive, because it's got such an enabling skill. And unless you're playing with like Ashe bot lane, which I don't know if it has been nerfed yet on this patch, but I think that and Sivir, I don't know if it's been nerfed, and of course I forgot to mention Sivir is of course a contested pick as well, bot lane, but if they have been nerfed, I think at least if you're going for something really passive like Ashe or something with not much escape, and something on the likes of that mid lane, I think Vi could be a really good pick as well. It's just for me, it's just a matter of time before Evelynn gets back, but she's not quite there yet. Nidalee would always work. I think this one could be high priority, as well as with the notorious what is he called? Just Rek'Sai, of course. She is a great jungler as well. Yeah, so Rek'Sai and Nidalee for the 116th time. Then looking through, I'm suspecting maybe, just maybe, that Kindred could sneak back into this meta, but it's really dependent on the lanes as well, because she is really vulnerable in the early game. Graves always somewhere, not an S tier pick in my opinion. Can hold his own, but nothing much more than that. A surprise pick or two, and of course Elise is not. That's not a surprise pick. Of course, that and Gragas is up there. Hecarim, which I know G2 likes to play. That could be a real fun one to watch. But for me, it should be something like Vi, or maybe Skarner or Pantheon. Those three could be really fun to watch, but I think Pantheon is more of a top laner. But those could work somewhere, sometime, but I don't think it would be the greatest idea ever. Then again, you never know. It could be a great one to sneak into it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I would suspect Trix going for something abusive, so I think Nidalee is a must ban. Same goes with Rek'Sai. It's too easy to gang with it. Which one would else be? Yeah, Elise as well. One of these three must be banned by Splice. Then onto the top lane matchup, which I think is the biggest deal, tagged on with the jungle matchup, and I think Echo would be a real contested one, because he's so great in lane. He's great at catching the backline, and as well when you have, maybe you don't have the greatest backline threats on your team, he's so great at flanking with it, with his teleport, and completely messing up the AD carry and immobile carries as well. Someday I suspect Riven getting back into the meta, but not right now. I don't think that would be a great one. Trundle, he could be up there as well, but more like a support off pick. I don't look. I really don't like him at all. Akali, I think I could suspect that one being pulled out. I think she's in a alright state at the moment, and she's really annoying to catch. For me, she's the same as Kassadin, which also could be picked mid lane, but Akali and Kassadin, but I think Akali is most likely if any of them are going to be chosen in this lane phase. Nah, as always, I think Darius. He's having a resurgence at the moment, but he's so reliant on not being kited for days, and Na is a horrible lane matchup in my eyes, at least when he gets I don't even that slowing item. I've forgotten what it's called. Yeah, frozen something. Then there's Alawi, Aurelia, Jax. All of them are viable. I don't think Jace has been buffed yet. I'm not sure if Gangplank has been nerfed either at the moment on the patch they're playing, but that's right, as always. So that one could be a real contested one as well with Kennen, which is such a great enabler in team fight, especially when you have Vladimir or something like that. That would just completely explode teams. And then if you have Ashe, it's just great. Or Bard, for that matter. I forgot to do. My Bard is always somewhere, but I'm not sure that it's the kind of champion any of these teams would pick. Maybe Splice. I know Splice can play it. Maokai is kind of lurking in the dark at the moment, but I think Shen is going to be contested. Nautilus could also. He's not in a bad state either, which in turn would then enable what is he called? Trundle. He would get back into it if Trundle would get back into the meta if Maokai and Nautilus gets back completely into the meta. So yeah, I think these kind of champions could be seen top lane. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I hope you can bear with me. A cheese pick could be Pantheon, as I've mentioned several times. Rumble as well. Renekton is not bad either. You can go with these. Fiora is always there. She's not in the greatest state. You could also go Lissandra top, but I don't like that one bit. But those are so reliant on the matchup. But you could, I guess, G2 could at least pull it out once or twice in the series, because I suspect Splice is trying so badly to fix the mid and the bot and mid lane matchup, or maybe the jungle matchup. I think they would think, from outside, I would think they think Wunder is fine with any matchup he's going to get against Expect in the top lane. But that wouldn't be my approach at all. So just to run through it, I forgot as well Taric, of course, he's in the meta. He will be a really contested pick. So him, Tahm Kench, Rek'Sai, Na, as always, Illaoi, Gangplank, depending on if he's back, if he hasn't been nerfed. Ryze could really be contested. Sevilla, of course, if no nerds and nerfs Ashe as well. Let me just scroll through one last time. Shen, and maybe let's just look around. But yeah, Jinx going to be a really great one to watch as well. I don't know if his Kled is here yet, but he will be for certainty. Yeah, Nidalee. These are champions you should look out for. Yeah, Echo as well. I'm sorry. I'm just getting a little off today. I'm sorry. But these are my top picks for the series, so you should watch out for these one. I suspect that G2 will pull this off like 3-1 in the series. I think they are too great in the laning phase. But the most important part of this series is that they establish total vision control. It's so underrated still. The way you use it, especially when you're G2 and you want, most of the time they want to make pickoffs to enable, because then I know their macro game is not the greatest exactly, and you can enable it so much, you can snowball it so much, you can snowball the map with pickoffs, so vision control is just so key. And if you want to make a split push, you can use it. If you're using pickoff comps like with Ashe or other Taliyah, I don't know what, either many kind of flanking comps can be used. So I think they should really focus on getting right matchups and letting Trick snowball from the jungle with vision, not with overextension, not diving crazy maniacally, and just control themselves. And when you get to the mid part of the game where Splyce always gets back into it, don't let them have it on their terms. Make them the engagers. Don't overdo certain things. Of course, you should bait when you got proper vision, but you should not just attack because you can. Think with your head. Most of the time, Splyce are only getting back into this because teams are making horrible mistakes in the late game, where they don't respect the fact that Splyce is a great fighting team. They're great at getting back into this. I can't recall if it was Rocks or the Tigers, which was so great at it. And this is kind of the last year's Tigers of last year in Europe this time with Splyce. You should not give them a chance to do this. Just stranglehold them. Make them do the forced engage. Make them do the thing that is probably not the greatest either. And don't just abuse the hell out of global ultimates and make them pay. So I think it's going to be a 3-1. Probably 2-0 in the start and then a 2-1 and a 3-1. That's my expectation watching the two teams, because I think G2 got much more quality all over the field. And unless they completely screw themselves with overextensions and such, and don't contain the accelerating play style, then I think they should be solid for this series, and they don't pick stupid matchups. Don't get cocky with their matchups. Just play them standard and make them pay in the early to mid game. And don't overextend. That's my video. I hope you enjoyed.